Hello there everybody and welcome to my review of Hyrule Warriors Legends. Hyrule Warriors came as something of a surprise when it was announced. The mix of Zelda and Musou gameplay was actually really fun to play when it was originally released for the Wii U way back in September of 2014. Now fast forward a year and a bit later and we have Hyrule Warriors Legends, a 3DS version of the Wii U title with a fair bit of extra content, but is it any good? Let's find out. Let's talk about Hyrule Warriors gameplay first. The game is certainly a fair bit different to the normal Zelda gameplay, as it's far more action orientated. Most levels are set on a big battlefield set in various iconic Zelda locations such as Hyrule Field, Land of Twilight and the Water Temple. You must capture most of these enemy keeps and beat the boss character to win the battle, and you win these keeps by killing hundreds of Zelda enemies, and that's pretty much all what you do in the game. Yes, it sounds repetitive, but it's incredibly fun. Combat in the game comes down to pressing two buttons. You press Y to do normal attacks, and pressing it several times will perform a combo. You can also mix pressing Y several times and pressing X to do some devastating and flashy special attacks to get rid of a fair few foes. Part of the fun of the game is to experiment with the combat to learn new combos as you play. Also have the special EX move that can be activated by pressing A once the bar has been filled, and also a special magic attack that can be unleashed once your magic bar is full. So there's a fair bit more to the combat than just pressing Y, and experimenting is just part of the fun. One of the improvements this 3DS version has over the Wii U original is that you can fast travel around the level map now, so if an allied keep is nearly defeated you can use the ocarina to fast travel and sort the problem out. Another new gameplay feature here is that you can now switch between any character on the field by just touching them on the touchscreen. You can even command AI characters to go and attack a certain area, which adds a certain bit of strategy that wasn't in the original, and also allows you to focus time on the main task at hand. Controls now, and the game has pretty much the same great control scheme as the Wii U original. You press Y to attack and X to do a special attack, B to dodge, and if you have a new 3DS you can use the C stick to move the camera and also use the extra shoulder buttons to lock on to bigger enemies. Content-wise, the game still includes the same main story campaign, Legends mode, which is a pretty decently written 10-hour campaign that mixes all the Zelda universes together. So you get to see Zelda characters from different games joining up to save the day. It's certainly fun to go through, even on the second time through. The FMVs from the Wii U version are here, even though they look a little bit fuzzy. For those like me who played through the original version, you'd probably be wondering if there's anything new in the Legends mode, or not. Thankfully, there's a few extra storylines that unlock as you play through the mode. Probably the most hyped bit of the game is Linkle's campaign missions. The female Link character is incredibly fun to play as, her crossbow weapon is incredibly powerful, and dare I say it, she's my favourite character in the game. There are also some Wind Waker story levels as well, with Toon Link, Tetra and King Daphnes as playable characters, and each and every one are a welcome addition to the big character roster borrowed over from the Wii U version. For me, the main meat of the game is the Adventure Mode, which is where you'll end up spending most of your time. Adventure Mode is a load of 5 to 10 minute missions that are spread all over a recreation of the very first Zelda game map, as you unlock most of the characters' costumes and various other unlockables through this mode. The 3DS exclusive My Fairy mode is another strong reason to play through the Adventure mode, as you need to go through that and find some fairies and pots throughout the levels to unlock this mode. Fairy mode, when unlocked, allows you to feed and look after your fairy, tie it with a character so you can level up and you can unleash a really powerful attack that will certainly help players if they're finding the game hard. While playing Tamagotchi with these fairies isn't really my cup of tea, the end result is kinda worth it. Other stuff included in this 3DS version is the ability to scan amiibos for in-game items like the Wii U version, as well as all the previous playable characters that was in the original game. Plus DLC characters like Young Link, Tingle and Twilight Minder are also included, as well as the aforementioned new characters and their story missions, so players who are returning are getting a pretty decent amount of new content, while those who are playing it for the first time will be swamped with content and unlockables. Now time to talk about the graphics. For a port of a Wii U game, it's a pretty decent recreation of the title. The textures and character models aren't that great, and that's to be expected, but there's far worse looking games on the handheld. But it's the performance that's the real kicker here, because if you own the original 3DS, 3DS XL, or 2DS, you'll want to avoid this game as its frame rate is absolutely appalling. The game slows down to a terrible rate that it just becomes unplayable, but thankfully if you own Nintendo's fancy new 3DS or new 3DS XL, you'll be fine. Whilst the graphics still aren't anything special, it runs at a solid 30 FPS and rarely drops. It's kind of bizarre why Ninty didn't just make it a new 3DS exclusive, but I gather they didn't want the larger original 3DS community to feel left out. Now time to wrap things up with a conclusion. Hyrule Warriors Legends is the same great game that came out on the Wii U in 2014, but with a fair few bit of extra content and new features. It feels more at home on a handheld, but its performance on the original 3DS consoles is terrible, and certainly not worth getting if you have one of those handhelds. Those of you with a new 3DS is certainly worth having a go if you haven't played the Wii U original, so for the first time I'm going to give a game two scores, one for the old 3DS and one for the new 3DS. I would give the game 4.5 for those with the original 3DS handheld and an 8.0 for those with a new 3DS. It's a shame that Nintendo couldn't get the game working well on older consoles, but those with the new 3DS will get an enjoyable experience with plenty of content. Thank you for watching my review, I hope you enjoyed it, bye!